What's that idea? You know, the one that pops into your head just as you are about to fall asleep? The one that you keep telling yourself that you're waiting for the perfect moment to start. For me, that was podcasting and content creation. These things stuck to me like a flea and moved with me everywhere I went. But like you, I kept telling myself that I was waiting for the perfect moment so that I could start. But guess what? That perfect moment never came. This perfect moment is a myth. It's the comforting story that we tell ourselves so that we can stay in our cozy comfort zones. But nothing amazing ever happens in the comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen there. The life you're dreaming of doesn't happen there. So these are the 10 lessons I wish someone had given to me when I was starting. They are for anyone who wants to make that game-changing move in their own lives. Lesson 1. The myth of the perfect moment. This lesson is the most important one, just as we have seen in the intro. So let's get it out of the way. Stop thinking that you will ever get to a point where you'll have everything aligned for you to start. Readiness is not something that happens to you. It's something that you create by doing the work. You'll never be handed a perfectly aligned schedule. You'll never be handed a bucket load amount of money. You may not get to have that world-class studio or world-class fancy equipment for you to start. What about that fear of failure? What about that fear of rejection? What about that fear of looking stupid? Well, that's not a stop sign. That is your own inner self admitting that what you are about to do is bigger than you. We tend to look at successful people and imagine that they had a roadmap that they were able to follow so that they could be successful. We think that they were not afraid, we think that they didn't make mistakes, we think that they had clarity, but truth is they were just as scared and uncertain as you are. The only difference is that they moved anyway. They knew don't get to the top of the mountain unless you start from the bottom, unless you take that first step forward. On to lesson number 2. Define your inner compass. Before you start walking, before you start doing anything, ask yourself, why are you doing it? What's your why? What's your vision? What's your mission? What problem are you trying to solve? What are you trying to do with what it is that you are starting? What is that reason that ought to be bigger than yourself so that even when things are hard, you will not be able to quit? Is there something that bugs you that you want to be a solution for? Because the truth is, you'll face self-doubt, you'll face criticism, you'll face discouragement. And if you don't have some of these reasons, then you are bound to quit. You are bound to let go of that dream. Motivation based on excitement alone is not long-term, but a purpose-driven why is bulletproof and will keep you going. For me, I've been able to do 2 things. One of it is I was a dance choreographer, a dancer, and a creative for the last 17 years. And my why was 3 things. I wanted to be able to initiate change. I wanted to be able to give hope. And I wanted to be able to inspire. And it is those 3 that have kept me going to date. Even when I started this podcast, my reason was bigger. I wanted to become a better event host. I wanted to become a better moderator. And by doing this, I have been able to grow because as I analyze how I do each and every podcast, I'm learning how to tell better stories. I'm learning how to draw better scripts. I'm learning how to have better posture. I'm learning how to have better conversations and fluid thoughts. And so, what is your why? What is that thing that will keep you growing? Lesson 3. The beginning will definitely not be good. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Allow yourself to be a novice. Allow yourself to go through that clumsy phase where anything that you are doing will not be good. Matter of fact, it'll probably be quite bad. There's a popular saying that says that the master has failed more times than the beginner ever tried. Think about that. Every single person that you admired had to go through that initial clumsy phase where whatever they were doing just looked bad. Don't believe it? Just go and check out some of your favorite YouTubers. Check out their first videos. They probably looked horrible, didn't they? I remember one of the first events that I ever did. It was a corporate event, and that was one of the worst events I have ever done. The jokes fell flat. I didn't have audience control, I was nervous, I was shaky, but if I never dared to do that first event, I would never have been the event host that I am today. Even while doing this podcast, the first thing that we did in content creation really flopped last year. Our first episodes weren't really the best. But with every single episode, we have allowed ourselves to grow. We have allowed ourselves to be better. So be okay with not being good. Be okay with the fact that it will take time for you to become the person that you are meant to be. Lesson 4. The power of the ridiculously small step. Sometimes our dreams feel like this giant or like this huge mountain. The secret weapon is this: take ridiculously small steps. You see, we get paralyzed by how big our vision is, how big our dreams are. We look at all the things that we need, and when our mind tells us that we cannot do it, we revert back to what we normally do. You get the remote, go to the TV, press on Netflix, and binge watch your favorite series. Sounds familiar? So the trick is to break it down into small, achievable steps. You want to write a book? Don't think write a book. Open a Word document and just write down that first topic. You want to start a podcast? Don't think about a 40-minute episode. Face a camera and record yourselves for about 60 seconds. Get used to the awkwardness of looking in front of a camera. Want to be good in sports? Don't think about being in the first team of a team. Start by learning something simple or something basic about that sport. Want to start a business? Don't think so much about that big business plan and how you're going to sell it. Start off by just understanding either the sales or the production of that equipment. Have conversations with people, see how that can work out. When you break it down into small, achievable parts, it becomes easier. Remember, anything worthwhile takes time and consistency for it to be fruitful. You don't plant a seed today and tomorrow it's a tree. You have to be patient, you have to be diligent, you have to water it for it to become that which you want it to be. Lesson number 5. Keep learning. The world is constantly changing. With new technologies and new trends, every single day that you wake up, there's something new. Try as much as possible to stay relevant with the times so as to be competitive in your field. You need to have a learning mindset. This doesn't mean that you need to enroll into every formal degree out there. No, just build up your curiosity. Read a book, listen to podcasts, watch tutorials, but most importantly, treat every experience, even the bad ones, like a learning experience. One of the things we did when we started this podcast, we had a plan to just learn from every episode. The first episode was simple, we just started. The second episode, we just improved on the lighting. The third episode, we improved on the audio. And so we kept learning, and hopefully by the time we are done the 50 episodes, we will be much better than where we started. Please hit that like button and leave a comment telling me which of these lessons resonates with you the most. Also remember, by engaging with this content, you'll be telling YouTube that this is a video worth spreading. With that in mind, let's go on to lesson 6. Lesson 6. Action creates clarity. Allow me to tell you a story I once heard of these two people who wanted to become fishermen. One of them went to school, learned a lot about all the theories of how to be a fisherman, and went back to the lake to fish. The other one picked up a fishing rod, went to the lake, and they made so many mistakes in their initial years. But in 3 years, guess who became the better fisherman? Now that does not mean jump into every situation, but there are circumstances where some of us plan, strategize, and have all these ideas in our heads for prolonged periods of time, waiting for the perfect moment, as we said earlier. Sometimes the best thing to do is to just start. Your first product will probably have flaws. Your first video will probably be pathetic. Your first ideas will probably not work. You will probably fail. But the more you do it, the more you move, the clearer you become, the better you become. And that's why even most jobs, even after going through school, ask for experience. So, just start. Lesson 7. There's no such thing as failure, just lessons. Let's come to the biggest dream killer of them all, the fear of failure. This has made so many people not progress with their ideas, their dreams, their vision, because they are afraid that they will fail. But we need to change our relationship with this word called failure. You see, we've been taught, especially in school, that failure is such a bad thing because you're either successful or failing. But I want us to reimagine this word, especially like in the world of sports. The greatest sports people that we know fail almost every single day. Look at your favorite footballer. How many shots do they miss in practice, and how many shots do they miss in a game? Let's look at your favorite basketball player. Let's look at your favorite sports person. Most of them fail so many times in practice and so many times on the field. Think of your favorite scientists. How many experiments have they failed and picked those as lessons so that they can become greater in future? The biggest corporations, how much money do they invest in R&D where they fail consistently? You see, if you take 10 shots and you miss 8, but you score 2, those are 2 goals. But most of us, we only take 2 shots in the hope that all 2 will go in. And when those 2 shots don't go in, we give up. Lesson 8. You don't need unanimous approval. When you first get an idea, there's this huge temptation to run around asking for people's opinions and for people's advice. Most of us do this not because we really don't know what we're supposed to do, but we hope to get validation from our friends and from our families. Lesson 8 is a friendly reminder and also a firm warning. You do not need a committee to approve your dream. In fact, asking for this sort of validation is what more often than not kills your dreams. When you share a new and fragile idea, you're not just going to get feedback. You're exposing it to everyone else's fears, biases, insecurities. Some of them probably felt bad because they quit their own dreams, and so they're going to try and discourage you from pursuing your own dreams. You see, people sometimes often have the best intentions, even family, but without knowing it, they sometimes project their own fears onto you. Most of them think that they're trying to protect you from the pain, but at the end of the day, your dream doesn't need protection. In life, you are faced with 2 options every single day: the fear of failure or the possibility of regret. Of these 2, you can do something about one of them. So remember, the only permission you need is your own. Lesson number 9. Curate your circle. As much as you do not need everyone's approval, you still need someone's support. You need to identify who this person is, both within your circle and the kind of person that you are targeting. You can have a small group of people that you can go to who will give you the kind of advice you need, constructive advice. People who will not just give you words that will break you down, but they'll also show you how you can navigate some of these challenges. You need some friends who will just be there to show you the support. You also need someone who has gone before you, who can be able to guide you, who can be able to help you navigate some of the mistakes so that you don't have to repeat them. And even while you're addressing, even if it's a business, you need to know who your end target is. So, curate the kind of circle that you want, the kind of circle that will actually elevate you to become the person you are meant to be. Lesson number 10. We are finally at the last lesson. And if you've made it this far, hit the like button and show us some love. So this lesson ties all the other lessons together, and it's a very simple lesson. Fall in love with the process. We live in a world that is obsessed with the finish line. The prizes, the trophies, the promotion, the big exit. All of these are just but a single moment of our lives. But you see, the process, it's every single day that you show up. You see, you can't find joy in the daily grind unless you love the process. Otherwise, you'll burn out long before you've gotten to see that dream come to pass. So just love the act of showing up. Find satisfaction in getting 1% better every single day. Celebrate the small but boring wins. Live in the now. It is said that worry is when we live too much into the future, and stress is when we live too much into the past. So learn to enjoy the present. Show up every day, as this builds resilience. I'll wrap it off even with what scripture says. Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Learn to focus on the journey, not just the destination. There you have it. 10 lessons that I have learned from starting this podcast. I hope that these lessons will help you fulfill your potential. I hope that these lessons will help you to become a better person. If any of these lessons resonated with you, drop a comment below. Tell us more about it. We'd like to hear. Also, share with us some of your dreams, some of your ambitions. Let's engage. Let's encourage each other. Let's build a community. See you in the next episode. Peace out.